Hey everybody, we're back here with another episode here of the Big Break Podcast. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly here of the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament. I'm gonna throw it to you guys here, whichever one you feels wants to take it over. Let's just start with the good. What was the good out of this tournament?
I mean, conference day one, conference goes 5-3. Penn State, the quote unquote upset on Texas A&M, looked pretty good. 17-point win. Uh, but yeah, that's about. Day one was good. Yeah,
Day one was
Yeah.
pretty good for the Big Ten. Day two, not so much, but we'll get into that here in a minute. Drew, go ahead here with your good.
Well, the good obviously starts with Michigan State, who's our lone wolf, but also Northwestern getting a first round win. Good for Northwestern, as well as Penn State smacking down Texas A&M. Good win for them as well.
very
Absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely. Corey, what do
Yeah,
you
I
got going
mean,
on?
I mean, I really, for me, I really like Maryland's win. I know they were the lower seed, but to me, I didn't really see them beating West Virginia, so I really liked Maryland. But I mean, like we said, all around, I think the first round, outside of just a few games, were pretty good for the Big Ten, and they did better than expected.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean the first day, I would absolutely say that. Not so much the second day, because there was a lot of bad. And there was the ugly that second day of the tournament. But let's just go over the bad. What was Ethan? What was bad for you out of for the Big Ten for this tournament?
Well, Purdue didn't get off the bus. Short trip down to Columbus. Forgot to catch the bus all the way over. Um, the Purdue men and women lost. The girls lost in their play-in game. Uh, was very, very rough go for both Purdue and Illinois. Illinois lost by 10, one of our largest losses of round one here in the Big Ten. Um, the 0-2 in the women's play-in game, and then Purdue really letting the conference down as a one seed. Definitely heard on day one in that round of 64.
Absolutely, Corey. What was the bad for you?
I mean, just as much as we talked about how we did all right in the first round, I would say just kind of everybody falling off after that first round. I know we're going to talk about Purdue here in a second about how they, like you said, didn't show up, didn't play up to their standard, which was kind of a story for the Big Ten so far through the tournament. So for me, the bad is just kind of everything outside of Michigan State after the first round.
Definitely, Drew. Lay some bad on me here.
Well, Maryland getting beaten down by Alabama was pretty ugly. Illinois, 17 turnovers, not going to win a game, turning the ball over that much.
Not at all.
And Iowa, like Auburn, I feel like just ran Iowa off the floor. And then most recently, Indiana just getting torched by Miami.
I was definitely not expecting them to get torched by Miami. I don't know about you guys, but that was a complete surprise by me that Miami came back and won that game by or just absolutely just ran the floor with Indiana. Um,
Yeah.
let's go ahead, Ethan. Go.
I was gonna say one more shining bright here. Just missed it here in my notes. In the round of 64, the Big Ten women went undefeated, 5-0, averaged 27.8 points per victory. Maryland won by 32. A couple of all stars from that. Caitlin Clark, of course, always name on our list. 26, 7, and 12. And I have an Emily Kaiser from the University of Michigan going 18, 10, 6, and 3 steals.
Wow.
Full stat shuffer.
What a
Strong
stat
in
line.
that round of 64.
Absolutely. I did see Caitlin Clark's three, since you mentioned her. I saw that three she took from like the logo, and it was just reminding me of like the days where you just know that coach just looks at her and goes, "You have the green light from pretty much anywhere half court in. Just take the shot if you think you have it, you know." And it was just crazy. Nothing
Take the
but
shot,
net.
don't get crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Drew, you told me earlier that you were actually at the FDU Purdue game. You were there
Yes, sir.
down in Columbus. Tell us what it was like witnessing a little bit of history for the second 16 seed to upset a 1.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was an electric atmosphere, pretty much the whole game. The first half, Purdue was either down 1 or up 1 at half. So since we're in Columbus, the majority of the fans were Purdue fans. So they traveled pretty well. So I'll give it out to them for that. But at halftime, they weren't really sweating it. They were a little concerned, but another half of basketball, they'll figure it out, right? They never figured it out. FDU put the pressure on the whole game. I loved how they were running full court presses the whole game.
Absolutely.
Doubling Edie, sometimes tripling if needed. The pressure was there, and the Purdue guards, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, looked like freshmen and played like freshmen, and I think that's what lost Purdue the game.
Absolutely. Drew, was there a feeling in the arena just like, getting to like the closing minutes of like for FDU, like, oh, they're gonna really do this? Like,
Oh yeah. Oh dude, everyone was on their seat from like the 10-minute mark in. Like the last 60 seconds, all you see are phones everywhere. Everybody's recording this. This is history, right? So it was great. The Purdue fans, man, they went through a wave of emotion. I feel bad for them, but it's great to see history, right?
absolutely.
What would you say the overall deflation versus complete absolute adulation joy? What's your tipping point there? Like how much deflation from Purdue versus the absolute stunner from FDU was there?
Like for a specific play, I can't really say, but like once those seconds were just ticking down, like you could just feel people rise. Like the majority of people there, like I said, were Purdue fans, but the rest of the people were just other teams or basketball fans, and we're all going to cheer for an upset, right? So
Yep, 100%.
it was that 40% of Purdue people like on the edge of their seat, and then that other 60% just erupting.
Love it.
Yeah, it was just one of those things for me. Like as I was watching it, you just kind of expected Purdue to just turn it on and just start to go up 10 and kind of turn it on, and they just didn't have it.
They couldn't hit a shot to save their life.
That I just can't believe they dominated their non-conference schedule. I mean, they beat Gonzaga, they beat Duke, they beat all these powerhouses, and then you run up against the smallest team in all of basketball, really, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Statistically.
And you can't do anything. And you have one of the tallest players in all of basketball on your team. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, I think the inexperience of the guards is what really hurt them. As well as here's a poor stat: Zach Edey had one shot in the final 13 minutes. Atrocious.
Hit or attempted?
Maybe make.
Oof.
But
Can't have that.
Not good. I think it was attempted though.
Ugh.
And you know what's crazy is leading up to that, he had, what was it, 13 in the first half. They went on like a 20-something 0 run, or it was like they went on a little run that they got up, and then and Edey was like 13 of 15 points during that run. It was just like incredible that you didn't.
Yeah, it seemed like every time they fed him in the post in the first half, he just turning little baby hook. Now he's not always making them, but he was at least attempting them.
But like, I just don't. How do you not give one of your best players? How do you not give one of your best players?
And statistically, one of the absolute national favorites for Player of the Year.
Correct.
Which that's probably gone.
And he had the size advantage for all 40 minutes.
Absolutely, he did. And how do you not exploit that? And that's what I just don't understand. Any final thoughts on Purdue, guys, before we move on here to a little bit of the best part of the Big Ten?
The one thing I will I was gonna say, the one thing I will say is I will give a shout out to Matt Painter. Although they were defeated and on the wrong side of history, he did stay in the media room and made sure all the media members had all their questions answered. So, although most people would have probably been mad, and I know that the locker room, they broke the whiteboard and everything, but I mean, he still kind of took that on the chin and sat there and made sure that the media had everything they needed. So, just kind of shows the kind of person that he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's actually something that I don't think has been brought up as much as people should. That actually takes a lot for a coach to sit there after one of these worst losses that you've seen in college basketball history, right? There's only been one other team to suffer a worse loss in college basketball history, and that's Virginia, right? And for you to sit there for, I don't know, what was it, probably 20, maybe 30 minutes tops, 20 to 30 minutes tops, answering every single reporter's question. And then I heard the moderator of the news conference said, okay, this is the last question, and Matt Painter still sat there and answered every single one from there on out. And to me, if you're a Purdue fan listening to our show, you should take some pride in that and know that your program is in actually really good hands. And he may have had some slumps here in the tournament, but all it takes is one game to turn that all around, So
plus, you can bring Edey back next year, and you can get your guards back. You can bring this team back around with that caliber of coach and ability and potential. It's not over. It doesn't have to be over.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be over at all. Like we were always, I know we were all mentioning it earlier, was Virginia. They lost to the 16th seed, came back and won it the next year.
Yep.
Yeah, and I expect a lot of those Purdue guys to come back. I think, Edey, although he potentially was the best player in the country, I think he's still a little raw and could use another year in college. I think he's coming back, and I think a few others might come back, and they're going to make up for it.
Absolutely. I'm really to see what's going to be interesting going into next basketball season for Purdue is how do these freshman guards respond? How does Matt Painter respond? And if you bring Edey back, how does he respond? Is he going to be the leader in the locker room? Does Painter maybe change a little bit of philosophy? And how do these guards respond in their playmaking ability and their decision making?
Yep.
Let's talk some good here, though, from the Big Ten basketball. Michigan State. It seems like Tom Izzo, when it comes to March, is just a wizard. Because he always seems a way to find his way into these, into these Sweet 16s, the Elite Eights. Corey, what is it about Tom Izzo and Michigan State this year that is just going to be hard to put them away?
They're just really athletic. When you watch them from the point guard all the way to the center, they're just super athletic. They all crash the boards. They play as a team. They move the ball make the extra pass. They're always trying to get out in transition and run. They kind of surprised me. I obviously didn't see them making a Sweet 16 run, but obviously Tom Izzo, whenever it gets down to it, coaching does play a part of it, and Tom Izzo is one of the best. So I think that obviously plays into their helping them and their advantage because he's been there before. But just when you watch them, just their athleticism, their raw athleticism from all positions, it's off the charts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. They are a really athletic team, like probably one of the most athletic that we have in the Big Ten. Drew, is this the end of the run for Michigan State, or are they going to make or do they have a deeper run in them?
Well, I can't necessarily count out Tom Izzo just based on the fact it's Tom Izzo, right? And Sparty, yeah, Sparty's very athletic, very good. I love Tyson Walker. I think he's a guy who can go get a bucket anytime you need it. Unfortunately, I think this Kansas State team is more athletic and has more individual stars than Michigan State does. Keontae Johnson and Marquise Noel are incredibly tough. Both can go get buckets. So it's going to be a very tough matchup.
Absolutely. Ethan, what do you like about Michigan State, and what do you think what will it take for them to upset Kansas State and move on to the Elite Eight?
I definitely think it starts with coaching. It's hard to bet against Tom Izzo this time of year, especially when you're looking at the people like the Bill Selfs, the Coach K's, the Roy Williams, Jay Wrights, all those types of people going through this section of the season. That's a big place to start. One thing that they did out rebound Marquette in offensive and defensively, which is a huge thing. 19 and 23 at the line. Joey Hauser keeping it together. The cohesion of this team is fantastic. I'm going to stick with my hot take. I don't think the Big Ten makes it out of the Sweet 16. Going back to episode 1, I think that the athleticism of K-State is just going to end up being too much for whatever Tom Izzo can throw at it down the line.
Okay. So, is there anything Michigan State can do to make it tough on Kansas State that could possibly lead to them making the upset? Any of you?
Small things. Small things are going to matter here. Watch your fouls, make your free throws, watch your turnovers. You're going to have to slow them down. Don't let K-State get out and run. You got to guard efficiently versus effectively. Don't waste your energy because K-State's going to want to go with you if you get going.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Drew?
Yeah, I think Sparty just needs to slow it down, play some Big Ten basketball, run some sets, and not get into a track meet with Kansas State.
Yeah, I think they need to play more half-court offense if they want to have a chance to make that upset. I don't think you want to get into a track meet with Kansas State. Corey, what do you think it's going to take for Michigan State to pull off the upset?
I just think they got to come out aggressive on defense and not settle on offense. The last few games, they've been getting off to a really good start, jumping out on teams up 10 points. If Kansas State has to play from behind and come back, it's obviously going to lean more in Michigan State's favor the longer the game goes on. So I think it's all about how they start. It's going to start on defense. If they come out aggressive on defense and can make plays and get out and run early, I think Michigan State might be able to make the upset happen.
And I think that's what it's going to take, if I'm being honest. They need to make plays early. They need to settle into a half-court offense, and they need to be what a Tom Izzo team to me always is: fundamentally sound. They don't make a lot of turnovers. They rebound well, and they get nice, easy buckets. Like Corey, like we were talking earlier with it seems like the UConn women, if you allow them and you give them the layup, they're going to take that all night long. They're going to take the 2 free points, and that's what I would feel like a Tom Izzo team always does. They find the easy way for you to allow them just to get nice, easy buckets. There's not much left for basketball. What was your guys' most surprising upset, obviously outside of FDU over Purdue, that you saw out of this tournament? Anyone?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got you here. In the tournament as a whole, Miami women over Indiana women. That is a bigger upset than what people are going to believe. A lot of people just see it as a 1 seed going down to, I believe, a 9th seed. And check my math real quick.
It is. I think it was
Yeah.
a 1-8 or 1-9 matchup.
Yeah, and 1-9, and that was, to me, spoke volumes. Miami never led Indiana in this game. Indiana never led. Miami was up by as much as 14 at one time, and Miami was 8-1 odds to win the whole thing. Indiana, they were up there with South Carolina as odds-on favorites to take down the Nets. Miami sitting there at 300-1 odds. I know that there's all sorts of things we could talk. I got honorable mention to Toledo over Toledo and Tennessee, Florida Gulf Coast, Washington State. But I'm sorry, Toledo, Iowa State. But to me, my upsets in the women's side, Miami over Indiana.
I like it. Drew, or Corey, what was your biggest upset?
I mean, I like Princeton. Nobody saw Princeton beating Arizona, but I mean, even on top of that, I don't think many people saw Princeton beating Missouri. Even, so to me, I think Princeton's run to the Sweet 16, both. I mean, obviously beating Arizona, which I think made everybody's bracket basically make them crumble it up and throw it in the garbage.
Go Tigers.
But and then obviously for them to be in the Sweet 16 and then having, I mean, Creighton as well. I didn't really see Creighton being there as well, though, they've been in the Sweet 16 prior. But Princeton to me was just kind of the major nobody saw coming.
Yeah, definitely. Drew, who was your biggest surprise upset outside of the 16-1?
Well, yeah, obviously the Fair Dick win over Purdue because I was there was the best. But the Princeton beating Arizona was a big shocker to me because I had Arizona going pretty far. But I can never be mad when Princeton wins.
Go Tigers.
Spent
a lot of time there, Drew, didn't you?
Back in the day, yeah. Did a little rowing. But yeah, Princeton, I'm glad to see them still going. I'm also a pretty big Creighton fan, so that matchup's going to be pretty fun for me.
Doug McBuckets was in the crowd that day.
Yep.
When they made it. For me, I would definitely have to say Princeton as well. Princeton over Arizona was probably the most surprising, obviously outside of ND or FDU over Purdue. So I just can't take any more of the heartbreak for basketball for the Big Ten at this time. And as fate would hold it, the Ohio State ends up facing UConn in the women's side. So I think there's going to be another heartbreak there, unfortunately. And UConn's going to make their 29th Elite Eight in a row on their way to a 15th straight, probably Final Four in a row.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The UConn women just made their 29th straight Sweet 16.
I tell you what, though, if you want a game to watch, Colorado, Iowa. I watched the end of that Colorado Duke game. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
go ahead, you think?
I was going to say, watching and going back on what you had touched base on earlier, watching these games and watching the end of these women's games the last couple nights, I don't see a team just chuck up a three to try and catch up late in the game. There's no hurry it down, chuck up a three, clink, foul. No, these girls have gone straight to the basket tried to draw contact, tried to make an easy layup. They're going right by their defender, and they're trying to get the easy two, get a stop or a foul. But one thing that I found that impressed me more than anything is that they're not just heaving up shots as a quick makeup late in the game.
Absolutely. I just can't wait to see what Caitlin Clark does. So everybody, we need to watch that game, and let's all watch our girl Caitlin Clark shine out for the Big Ten. All right, we all need to go out and watch our girl Caitlin Clark. All right, we are now officially, guys, in spring football season.
Sir,
It feels good. It feels good.
It feels
The
right.
back.
the weather's warming up, the pads are coming back on, and and it feels like we're on the cusp of it being there. It feels like just like July, August does, like we're almost there. To get what I know the three of us, or the four of us, sorry, yeah, the four of us say is the greatest sport in the world, college football.
Absolutely.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
The
Agreed.
Big Ten has had some changes this year. We'll get into those on later episodes. But I just want to get your thoughts here. With spring ball starting, what are you guys looking at? There's a QB battle going in Columbus, a potential running back, battle going on in Ann Arbor. Your two major stories at your two biggest programs in the Big Ten. It seems like James Franklin has a lot going on at Penn State right now, and people are saying don't sleep on Penn State coming out of the Big Ten this year. We got new faces in the West with Luke Fickell and Matt Rule. What are you guys thinking is going to be coming out of this spring? What are you guys most excited for coming out of spring football heading into summer camps? Corey?
I'm just most excited, like I said, about the West. I think obviously what the East is going to get with Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. Obviously, there are battles in those that we can talk about for long periods of time on who we like and who we don't like. But I mean, the West is like kind of open. It's sort of wide open. You kind of have Wisconsin, obviously, with Luke Fickell. You've got Iowa with a bunch of transfers coming in. They've got a quarterback, although they kept their offensive coordinator. Does their offense still slow? Do they have some pep in their step? What does Matt Rule do at Nebraska? I mean, it's just there's a lot of question marks on the West side that's going to just be fun to kind of keep up with, watch, see what happens. And obviously, you've got the Michigan, Ohio State issues as well. So it's just going to be a fun spring.
Absolutely. Drew, Ethan, go ahead.
Go ahead, dude.
Okay. Well, there's I got so many questions. I'm so excited for football, dude.
Lay it on us.
I could go team by team. Indiana, can Tom Allen save the job? Northwestern, we all know Patty Fitz is wild. Patty Fitz will go from winning 1 or 2 games to winning 8 to 9 the next season. Is that going to happen? It's very possible. All the new regimes, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Purdue, Penn State. Is it finally the year that Penn State pops? Who knows? And then just like all the transfer quarterbacks, like Hudson Card to Purdue is going to be big. Cade McNamara over in Iowa. Well, we'll see. Jeff Sims in Nebraska is going to be fun. And Tanner Mordecai up in Wisconsin could be an absolute show. I'm just really looking forward to fall.
Ethan, it's all you.
Yeah, I have questions myself. Can Michigan continue forward? Michigan's still very, very strong on the east side. Ohio State's got to answer a couple questions at quarterback. Are they just going to give it to Kyle McCord? Are they going to push forward in a different direction? Right now, I think it's McCord's job to lose. Not that that's a bad thing, but hopefully he gels up with the team well. Of course, he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to.
His high school receiver that he threw to in
Right.
high school. So that's a good chemistry thing that they should have going.
That's right. Very, very true. I also have Wisconsin, Nebraska, who's taken over the West. Well, I mean, Luke Fickell up in Wisconsin getting Tanner Mordecai, huge, a lot of transfers. I really am a big fan of Matt Rule in Nebraska. He got Jeff Sims from Georgia Tech this offseason. He's got 3 strong wide receivers coming in Malachi Coleman, Bryce Turner, and Demetrius Bell. All 3 of those guys are going to be a huge impact in that offense. And then my last bullet here, James Franklin is ready to shock the East Division. He only loses 6 on both sides of the ball. I think this is a year we get a shocker on the East side.
I like it. There's guys, there's a lot to look forward to out of the Big Ten. Going into the fall camps. I'm just excited, honestly. I was watching Matt Rule's press conference the other day, and I'm actually excited for Cornhusker football in Lincoln. It sounds like they got their guy, and like I was telling their fans, I was saying, guys, don't be surprised if you guys are an 8-4 team this year. And they were like, no. I was like, no, don't be surprised. This guy knows football, he knows offense, and he knows how to coach.
And they've worked the transfer portal pretty well.
Yes. Oh yeah, he has. He has worked the transfer portal like a pro. But so did Luke Fickell. I mean, Luke Fickell brought in how many people through the transfer portal up to Madison? Sorry. So out of those programs, yeah, I am. Out of those 2, I'm probably more excited to see what's ahead for Nebraska, just because of where they were in the Big Ten. Since they've entered, they've had maybe one good season when they went to the Big Ten championship, the inaugural one, if I'm not mistaken. But outside of that, they haven't done really much. So I'm excited to see a historic program get back to hopefully being an historic program, right?
Right.
That's
now.
Go ahead.
Say also looking in at week 2 at Colorado, the Dion game. You got Nebraska at Colorado Saturday, September 9th, and then
are they going to put Coach Prime in prime time?
That'd be nice. That'd be real nice. It'd be a fun one to watch. I don't care what channel it's on. Big Ten Network, ABC. Give me a good one.
Absolutely. Go ahead, though, Ethan.
I was just going to say, they get Michigan at home. They get Purdue at home. And they get Iowa at home. They're really the strongest road game they have is at Wisconsin. If he gets this team together quick, you could have a very Lincoln Riley-esque year outside the Big Ten West here. I mean, he could go easily 8-4, 9-3, 10-2 with this squad. With the glaring loss to Michigan, you're at 11 wins here. I mean, this schedule isn't the hardest thing that I've seen on paper yet, so they're hopefully good luck out in Nebraska this year.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Drew, Corey, leaving spring and going into the summer camps here that you're looking for, or anything exciting you're looking forward to seeing during spring games?
I'm just looking to see if Tuck's coming. If Mel Tucker can get Michigan State turned around and kind of see what's going on. Took a huge contract and kind of flopped. And so that's not going to fly too much longer. So kind of hoping to see if he's got something cooked up in East Lansing.
Absolutely. Drew?
Yeah, I'm excited to get some of these quarterback battles solved and interested to see what this new Wisconsin offense looks like with Phil Longo calling plays.
Definitely. Absolutely. All right. Let's hit before Corey just makes the announcement here. I'm going to go to Ethan here for the Big Ten Athlete of the Week.
All right. Pardon me. So I picked my athlete a little late last week, and then I had to pick up a tie. midway through because not only did Heath Baldwin out of Michigan State indoor track have a great week, I had to bring in a tie and bring in Matt Ramos out of Purdue Wrestling. Starting with Heath Baldwin here at Michigan State, he earned All American honors. He's a senior. He actually transferred from Michigan. He broke his own school record at Michigan State for the heptathlon for the third time this year. Most recently, previously set during the Big Ten Indoor Championships on February 25th. So he's his 6,000 point performance, which is what he scored in his last record breaking event combination. He's featured 3 of his own personal bests that day. And then at the Big Ten Indoor Championships, he featured 3 first places during his heptathlon for a first overall finish. So a very strong week for Heath Baldwin out of Michigan State. Kudos to you. But that does lead me to my tie. Matt Ramos, Purdue Wrestling.
Okay.
Beat #1 Spencer Lee out of Iowa. Arguably the greatest pound for pound wrestler in our generation. 125-pound weight class. Spencer Lee, 10 golds in his career, a silver and a bronze. 98-6 final record in college. 144-1 in high school. Yeah, 98-6. He was 144-1 in his high school career. And in the NCAA championships, Spencer Lee lost to Mr. Matt Ramos out of Purdue Wrestling, who did go 32-5 on the season. He transferred from Minnesota a couple of years ago and finished second overall. Got himself a nice second place in the wrestling championships.
Absolutely.
But beating #1 overall, who subsequently forfeited his remaining matches to end his career, is a huge, huge upset, and very, very much congratulations to Mr. Matt Ramos out of Purdue University Wrestling.
Absolutely. Boil up Matt Ramos. That's incredible, man. Love those 2 shout outs to those 2 wonderful Big Ten athletes. Corey, you've been posting it about it. What's going on?
Well, so if you haven't heard, we are going to be doing a giveaway here once we reach 100 subscribers. Originally, we set out, obviously, not to maybe grow as fast as we are growing. So we want to give kind of back to the community and say thanks from us for listening and subscribing. Once we reach 100 subscribers, we will be making a post. We will ask that you kind of comment on it, like the post, and then we will draw a winner. Once more info to come, but we will draw a winner, and we'll be getting some merchandise from the podcast with maybe a couple other little goodies thrown in there. So just be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely. Well, can't wait for that. Yeah, guys. So just keep out on the look for when that little giveaway happens. Drew, Ethan, Corey, I want to thank you guys again for your time here this evening. It's a pleasure as always, fellas. We're out, guys. Have a good one, and we'll be back live here on Sunday around noon. Catch you later.
Adios.